This information will save you a lot of time and you get better faster. Hopefully after this video, this information will save you a lot of time and you get better faster. So please watch the video until end, okay? What do you have to do to get good at the playing guitar? Most of the students give me this answer: work on the basics, cover the foundation, and then practice. Do the drills. These are all correct answers, but missing major important element of getting better faster, or if you want to get better at all. You cannot miss this. What do you think that is? The answer to that is use your ear. If you don't train your ear, it doesn't matter how many hours you practice a day, just technique or pieces, you're not going to get better. Okay, so you really need to start using your ear. Students who use their ear and work on their ear training, they get better faster, way faster than those who don't. And those who don't, they tend to forget because they don't remember how the melody or rhythm goes because they're not listening. Memorizing music in the beginning stages are very important because you use inner listening. So that's kind of ear training too. Without that, if you're just depending on the sheet music or tablature all the time, you're not gonna get your ear not gonna get better. Yeah, sure. If you once you get your ear trained and you get certain level, if you don't have time to memorize the piece and you have to read the charts to perform, that's totally fine. But beginning stage, especially for flamenco, if you don't memorize the basic compass or rhythm pattern, basic phrases, if you don't memorize them, you're not going to internalize the rhythm or compass. Okay, so that's number 2. Don't depend on tablature. Number 3, you have to practice with a metronome. That's very good for ear training because not only you're listening, you're playing, at the same time you have to listen to the metronome. So you're listening to things at the same time. That's very, very important in the beginning. That gives you good ear training. I get this question a lot from beginning students. How long does it take to get good? Again, I don't know. That depends. Could be 1 year, could be 2 years, 3 years, could be years, could be 20 years. That's all depending on students' goal and how students study. And also that varies if you had some kind of music training before. One of the students asked me, how long does it take for me to get good? I want to play like Antonio Rey. 6 months? 6 months? 6 months? So I told him, I can't even play like Antonio Rey, so what you want? Anyways, yeah, some of them, I mean, there are a couple of other students thought after 1 year they can perform with me side by side with no previous training. It's all depending on how good your ear is and if you're willing to study from foundation and do the homework. But actually, those students who doesn't work on the foundation at all for 1 year, 2 years, they barely get better. If you're taking guitar lessons from a teacher or if you have a private guitar lessons, you have to first listen. If teacher shows you the example or demonstration, it's best you listen to the whole thing very carefully instead of just trying to play immediately. I think if you listen carefully first, and try to absorb the rhythm, the tone, nuances, try to internalize the melody, and then get all the details of the position and fingering. That way you learn a lot faster. And then I think you should do that with the videos too. Number 5, you have to tune all the time. Like this student that came last week, I've been telling him to tune. I mean, we always do in the beginning of the lesson, okay? After 2 years, by now I thought he would understand how important the tuning is. But last week, after 2 years of studying, he told me, oh, I tuned this morning. Of course, he doesn't improve as much. And then, asked him to tune his guitar. And of course, okay, good enough. It's slightly still out of tune. And then he wants to just get to the lesson. I told him to tune again. How can your hearing or ear get better if you're constantly listening to the out of tuned guitar? So that's very important to tune your guitar. I mean, this kind of guitar, nylon string, it's very sensitive to temperature. So if you come from outside, or if you go from one room to another, or it gets out of tune easily, So like when I perform in the theater from my dressing room to the stage, a lot of times my guitar goes out of tune. I'm sure you've seen flamenco guitarists in the show or concerts, right? And majority of them, I'm sure they tune before they play. I've seen Paco de Lucia many times, and he always tuned his guitar first. He never started without tuning. He always tuned his guitar first. Faster the piece goes, faster or more complex the rhythm is, you have to use your ear. If you cannot hear those rhythm or the notes, you're not going to be able to play them correctly. Your ear has to get better. In many cases, your technique won't get that much better if your ear doesn't develop, because you cannot hear what you are doing wrong or what you're missing. Use your ear first. And by doing that, I'm sure you save a lot of time. I'm sure you improve faster. This is a question from Maximus.
Small question: when you flick with ring middle index and then play a bit with the index, you go also back from index, middle to ring?
Flicking kind of rasgueado. When I repeat, I do this only when I repeat, okay? So by the time my index goes, my ring finger goes back in the position. So it's like doing bicycle, So, I mean, if you wait until index going back, that'll be too late to repeat. If you want to play faster, as soon as your finger hits the string, as soon as that finger finishes playing, then it has to start going back. So it's kind of doing this motion. And of course, I think some people are taught that way, like put all the fingers back together. If you're a beginner and you're trying this for the first time, that's okay. But once you have this, more or less, then you want to do this way. See my A finger go back to the position when by the time index goes down. So to practice this, you don't actually have to do it first with the flicking. Try to do this. Just do this without even hitting the string. Okay? So A finger goes back when index is going down. When index goes back, A finger goes, and then, so kind of practice this without hitting string. Feel that motion in the hand. Try to get it into the muscle memory. I don't know if that's muscle memory is the right term for that, but you know what I mean. Then you apply it. But when you flick, when you do this, don't hold your fingers too strong or too tight. Do this light. This is just to get your finger to get used to this motion. Just get used to this motion. Like that. Just to get used to this motion. And then you can try. Okay, there you go. If you get this motion and this form, you can play rasgueado a lot faster. I mean, it's the same if you flick or if you don't flick. It's the same thing. Thank you very much for watching, and see you next time.